Right. What happened? Just trying to finish this setup. Mad. All right, there we go. Right, first of all, I'd like to give all praises unto YAHAWAH, BaHaSHAM, YAHAWASHI, RACHAA, QADASH, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and honors to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways, teaching His word in all sincerity and in truth. And just want to make a response to these Christian apologetics that's coming up against the gospel, coming up against the men of the Lord that's out there teaching the truth, you know. And at the end of the day, what we're teaching is just true and it makes sense. And we cover everything, man. We cover the history. All right. Of course, we cover everything concerning YAHAWASHI. We cover prophecy, current events, future events. You know, we're making known the knowledge of Yahweh BaHaSHam YAHWASHI. And these people are coming against it because it don't fit in with the status quo, you know, because Christianity is a dying religion anyway. The world is moving on from that form of hypocrisy and is adopting a different form of perversion, because that's what it is. Just a different form of perversion. It doesn't matter whether you're, ultimately doesn't matter whether you're a Christian, atheist, Satanist. Ultimately, it don't matter because you're wrong. All right, you're not in the way of truth, and it all leads to destruction. So the world is kind of moving on from Christianity. You got some, as Christianity does, some people, certain denominations are trying to further water down and pervert the doctrine to fit in with the world, which is the new world, which is arising. But then you're gonna have these apologetics, and their thing is they're trying to screenshot Christianity and defend, you know, a particular form of Christianity, which in itself is indefensible, you know, and that's why it's dying. That's why it's fading out. And these dudes want to defend it. The truth that's gonna rise and that's gonna reign and conquer this earth is the truth of Yahweh BaHaSHam YAHWASHI, which we teach. And that's where they're gonna have a problem. See, they're better off going to battle against these Muslims and all that. And, you know, you might have a good time with that, but you're not gonna win against us. So let me share my screen and we're gonna have a little look at these guys and bring out some scriptures and get some understanding, man. These guys are finished. All right. They're delusional, you know. It's a sad thing. They're very, very delusional. They're stuck under this spell, and they believe it. This is crazy. They actually believe it. So there you go. That's my screen shared. Let's look at these guys, man. So it's Vocab Malone, and these dudes actually think they're doing something. It's crazy.
All right, y'all. We stumbled across GMS, and we're gonna go talk to him right now. Adam's got the camera up.
What up, y'all? What up, y'all? It's your hometown hero, the real Adam Coleman, host of the True ID podcast. And for anybody who's been following me for a while, you
know, and I looked into this dude. He's one of these apologetics, and he seems like a sincere cat, you know. He wants to, you know, in his eyes, he wants to defend the scriptures, but his problem is that he doesn't understand that the Christianity that was taught to him isn't really the scriptures, but he wants to defend the scriptures. More importantly, he wants to defend that stale old Christianity, and he wants to help the community and youth work and all these different things. And his idea of good is anchored to Christianity. You know, that's the problem with this dude. He might be sincere, but he's lost. He's blind. He's in a dark place, and he's gonna defend that dark place that he's in. It's a damn shame.
Called that I was in New York this past summer for an apologetics conference sponsored by Frank Turek and Cross Examine Ministry. So definitely shout out to them. It was a dope conference. And yo, we had the
What you're
whole
gonna find out is all these Jake that's into Christianity, period, and all these Jake that's Christian apologetics, and this is where they go wrong. They go wrong because they don't understand that there's such a thing known as an Edomite. And you should never have an Edomite be your spiritual leader. And if you understood what an Edomite is and what they represent in the scriptures, you would understand why. There's no way that you can have an Edomite as your spiritual leader and it come out good, because the Edomites, they're the border of wickedness. They're the wicked that the Bible speaks of. They're profane. The Lord ain't dealing with them. Let's get that in the scriptures. So all these Jakes that's into Christianity, these Christian apologetics, they're let's go back a little bit. They're following Edomites, man. All right, they're following after Edomites. That's who their spiritual leaders are. These Jehovah's Witnesses, who do they follow? Charles Tails Russell. These Jakes that's into the Mormons, they're all following after these Edomites, man, and that's definitely a no-no, right? They go to these Christian theologian schools, and who's teaching them? Who's interpreting the scriptures for them? A bunch of Edomites, man, and that's where you're gonna go wrong. All right, because Esau is profane. Right, the Lord ain't dealing with Esau, and that's why they're taught not to understand these things, man. To understand that the Lord's only dealing with the Israelites, and even then, the Lord's only dealing with an elect of Israel, because the Lord ain't dealing with every Israelite like that. But if they understood the scriptures, they'd know, like, look, man, I can't go to no Edomite and expect to get the full truth, because the truth ain't in them. All right, it isn't in Edom. This is Hebrews 12:16. It says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Right? For ye know how that after, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. Now it says Esau is what? Fornicator, a profane person. Now you might say, oh, that was just the man Esau. No, that represents his entire nation. That's why the entire nation is going to be destroyed. That represents his entire heritage, because they are of their father, man. They have this, all of them, they got the spirit of their father, man. That's strike one right there. You know, a lot of these dudes, man, they look up to these Edomites. And that's one of the reasons why they don't want to add, when we told them that the so-called white man is a devil, they ain't gonna want to believe that, because that's their hero, man. It's like telling a kid that's into Superman that Superman is the devil. They don't want to hear that, man. They love Superman. But that's just what it is. Malachi 1:4. Whereas Edom saith, Edom, that's a nation of people that come from Esau, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. Right? And that's what you're seeing. Everything that Esau set up is being thrown down, man. And these dudes will be here right at the end trying to prop up this plantation Christianity, man. It's crazy that like they're trying to prop it up. Literally, they're taking hammer and nails and trying to prop up. But Christianity, man, which Esau's took upon himself and just ran with, that's gonna be destroyed. He built up Christianity into what it is today. This powerhouse religion. Esau built that. The Most High didn't build that. Esau built that, man. When they went over to the New World and they started with the conquistadors and they started robbing and raping and killing, that's what grew the ranks of Christianity. When they went over, when they took you so-called Negroes to put you over there in the Americas and were beating you, and they taught you plantation Christianity, that's what grew Christianity to what it is today. Christianity was not spread through word of mouth and good tidings. Christianity was spread by the sword, man. Are you for real? Like, Christianity was literally spread by the sword of Esau, man. He just rolled up like to the Native American Indians, put them in, grabbed them up, and took their children and put them in schools, cut their hair off, stripped them of their culture, and said, "Yo, all this." Yeah, went over to the Americas, man, with the conquistadors, chopping off arms and limbs. Hey, by the way, hold this. Even to the point where even the Pope had to issue an apology. Yeah, he had to issue an apology because all these Christian, oh boy, let's look at a map of the world, man. These people are crazy, man, and it's the sword of Esau that did all this, man. Christianity nations, man. Right. You see this whole side of the world right here? Let's get this up. You see how dark it is? Esau went and spread Christianity by the sword, man. What did they do over what did Esau do over there in Africa, man? In Nigeria, in these places. He went over there and oppressed the people. He didn't roll up. They didn't roll up in Africa like some fairies, like some missionaries. They didn't roll like the Apostle Paul. The Apostle Paul, when he was going out there to the churches of different Asian manor and all the other apostles and men that went and was preaching the word, they didn't roll up with swords and they was there like enslaving people and oppressing people. Oh yeah, by the way, you heard about the Messiah. Nah, their goal when they went there was strictly to teach the word, the true word. And the believers they received was, they weren't under no duress. Yes, the scriptures say through the knowing the terror of the Lord, we do persuade men. So there is an aspect of, look, man, if it's salvation. If you don't, you're going to be destroyed. But the people came and they believed because they believed. That's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to come into this truth because you believe in this word, in this gospel. The Esau Edom, under the guise of Christianity, he didn't spread Christianity based upon people, him just going there preaching and people believe. He went there with the sword. He went there oppressing and killing and stealing, and then forced Christianity upon the people. So that's why you see all the way here in the Americas. That's why you're gonna have Aborigines that's Christian. You got people down there in Australia. What did the Esau do? What did these Christian Edomites do when they went over to Australia? Were they not hunting the Aborigines of Australia? Did they not have hunt? Did they not classify Aborigines as fauna, as flora and fauna? They were actually classified. They actually classified the Aborigines as animals and plants, and they were hunting them. They had hunting season, like how you have for deer. That's how the Edomite Christian, the same Christian with the same philosophy that these apologetics are trying to defend, trying to uphold. That's how the Aborigines now are Christians, because they went over there and killed them and murdered them. That's not how you're supposed to spread the gospel, which they weren't spreading the gospel. Look at the image. Let me see if I can We just got to deal in the apologetics. They don't want to have to deal. They don't want to deal with all this stuff. Look, all these countries in Africa that's got this high percentage Christian population. Look, all these West African. Isn't that where the slaves come from? The west coast of Africa. All that colonization and that murdering and that stealing. Okay. Now they go over to the Americas. What did the Edomites do when they went over to the Americas? They went over there, murdered, raped, and robbed, colonized, and what did they do? They converted the indigenous peoples to Christianity. And the same thing goes to America. Why are you so-called Negroes all up in the churches professing Christianity and rolling up on the Hebrew Israelites trying to defend it? Same with the Caribbean. Why is the Caribbean mainly Christian? Because they went over there, slaughtered and murdered the Tainos and the Arawaks. And then the ones of them that happened to survive, oh, by the way, hold this Christianity. And then you so-called Negroes, they brought you over from the west coast of Africa, all right, throwing you overboard, chucking you to the sharks, raping you, doing whatever they want to do. And then when they got to the islands, yeah, they continued the rape and the murder and the torture, you know, putting your babies in shackles, burning people alive, all from. But hey, by the way, hold this Christianity right here, hold that. So that's how Esau built up this great organization, this great religion known as Christianity. It was spread by the sword. Even when you go back into the Roman Catholic Church, the way they mastered themselves over Europe was all based upon the sword. They took over powerful nations, and then they used those powerful nations and their riches to conquer other nations and put them under the sword. You know, when you go into the history, that's how it happened. Christianity was spread by the sword, man. So, and mainly the sword of Esau. Esau took it and he just went global with it. It says, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Right? Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. So the church actually has become a part of Esau's building. It's a part of his structure. And that's why they're trying so hard to defend it. It says, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. Right? Christianity is part and parcel to all this wickedness that's been happening for hundreds and hundreds of years. And these dudes are still here defending it like it's the truth. If it was the truth, then all this wickedness wouldn't be happening, man. If Christianity was the truth and the spirit of truth, the spirit of the Lord, the Holy Spirit was flowing through this doctrine, this religion, then how the hell is all of this madness going on in the earth, man? How the hell has America been the way it is from the beginning? Think about it, man. It's because the spirit of the Lord ain't in that, man. And these guys don't, you know, they don't think about these things. The border of wickedness and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. Okay? And GMS chariots are us. That's it. That's why a lot of Jakes say that's the white man's book. Yeah, because Esau took the book, ran with it with this folly called Christianity, and it's making the Bible look bad. And that's why we got to come back and say, hold on, look, man, the Bible ain't got nothing to do with them and their Christianity. This is the truth. And that's why a lot of Jake are waking up and be like, oh, okay, this is what's up. Okay. Let me go hit some of these scriptures on the comment board. Boy, brothers has been caning out the scriptures. Let me pick out a few scriptures here. Psalms 92:7, when the wicked spring as grass, and when all workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. Yeah. And that's what's coming, man. And these dudes ain't ready for it. The Lord's getting ready to do a clean sweep, and they're going to be destroyed with it. Anyone that's joined onto this man's world in any way, shape, or form, all these different philosophies, because it's not just Christianity. You got, you know, you got people, their religion is being a Republican, or their religion is being a Democrat, or, you know, hip hop culture, or all this. There's all kind of madness out there. You join on to any of these false philosophies and doctrines, man, which is of this world, then the Lord ain't going to be with you, because you are part of what offends the Lord. Your very belief is offensive unto him. And the scripture said the Lord is going to pluck out all things that offend. This is Sirach 12:12. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last be pricked. Yeah, and that's going into this Edomite man, right? We shouldn't have them there. If you got Edomites standing with you, literally actual Edomites in a house, in a council with you, you know there's something gone wrong there, because that man is a perversion. He's a walking perversion and corruption. 2 Esdras 16, and unto him thou gavest Isaac, and unto Isaac also thou gavest Jacob and Esau. As for Jacob, thou didst choose him to thee, and put by Esau, and so Jacob became a great multitude. And then so if the Lord put by Esau, put Esau to the side, we're supposed to put Esau to the side. So look, man, you might have an Edomite, they might bring out a bit of information. Now, some of it might be right, but that's up for you to decide. You don't let anybody tell you what's right and what's wrong. You decide whether what that Edomite says is right or wrong. You can't be led by that Edomite, man, because that's when you're going to go down the wrong road. Proverbs 15:26, the thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to the Lord, but the words of the pure are pleasant words. Beautiful. John 10:10 says, the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. Right? Because Esau, Edom, let's just keep it real. Esau, Edom came with that Christianity, and has the lives of you so-called Negroes been improved? Not just you so-called Negroes, you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Has your lives been improved worldwide? No, it hasn't. Your lives have not been improved. Realistically, think about it like this. If the world was truly being led by people of light, people who followed the Lord, followers of the Messiah, do you really think, if you were under the rulership of real Christians, right, do you really think that your life would be the way it is? Do you really think you would feel the need to go out in the street and protest and cry because of oppression? Come on, man. Anyway, let's play this. So this guy, this is what I'm talking about, man. These kind of people here.
Sponsored by Frank Turek and Cross Examine Ministries. So definitely shout out to them. It was a dope conference. And yo, we had the whole squad in the building. I mean, David Wood, Vocab Malone, my man Sam Shamoon, John McCrae from What Do
These dudes are mad people.
You Mean? And of course, yours truly. I'm talking about the whole A team of Apologetics was in the building for that, Jake, man. It was dope. It was really dope.
The thing is, yeah, the reason why they keep coming for the Hebrew Israelites is because we're outside of them. We're the only ones that really get into the scriptures. They can't go to nobody else. You think these dudes are gonna roll up on some punks with purple mohawks and try and defend the gospel? Listen, man, no, Christianity is so played out here. We're the only ones that will actually give these people some kind of, unless they talk amongst themselves, who the hell are they gonna debate with? Nobody wants to deal with them. Like, nobody, like, the America is moving on. They're like, yo, man, we've done this Christianity thing to death now. Like, let's do something else. Like, you know, like, it was good while it lasted, but it's a bit stale. Let's move on to something else. Plus, it keeps referring back to that Bible, and there's a lot of things in there that we really don't want to deal with anyway. So might as well just move on. That's the spirit of America, man. It's like it's a bit too close to that Bible thing. So we're just gonna move on from that. So these dudes really don't have no one else to talk to. That's why they keep coming to us, because we're the only ones out there that's actually dealing with the scriptures.
We actually had
prove it too.
A pretty dope conversation with some Hebrew Israelites. Now, Hebrew Israelites, of course, are known for setting up shop and street preaching, or as they refer to it, going into highways and byways. And we just happen to know a guy who is familiar with some locations where a particular camp of Hebrew Israelites, GMS, might be out there doing their thing. So we rolled up on them. We figured out where they might have been. And, we stopped by to have a dialogue, man. And it actually turned out to be pretty productive. We actually ended up running into the founder and current leader of GMS, a guy by the name of Tahar, along with two of his generals, if you will, by the name of Gabar and Arayam La, who was out there, street preaching. So we engaged in whatever, and it actually ended up being a pretty good bill.
They had the time of their life because, like I said, they can't really. Who the hell are they going to debate with? They won't. If they first of all, they wouldn't even be allowed in the Catholic. If they roll up in the Catholic Church trying to debate, they would say they're trespassing and kick them off straight away. You ain't gonna see them debating with no Catholic because the Catholics, like, they ain't got time with all that. But anyway, what I wanted to go into, these dudes, what they're defending, this Christianity BS. Let's look at this. This is Christianity in the United States. So Christianity is the most adhered to religion in the United States. So even to this very day, the dominant religion in America is Christianity. And even with that being the case, look at America. And then that should tell you all you need to know about Christianity and what it's all about. It says with 65% of polled Americans adults identifying themselves as Christian in 2019. That's down from 75% in 2015. So they dropped 10%. They dropped 10% in what, 4 years? And that's why these dudes they're fighting a losing battle. Nobody's trying to deal with that no more. 78% in 2012, 81% in 2001. So back in 2001, 81% of people in America, that's 8 out of 10 people in America profess to be a Christian, right? And 85% in 1990. And what this is showing you is that really it's the old people that's dying out. You know, them old Edomites, them old Jake, they dying, man. And as they're dying, that the new kids on the block are like, yo, I mean, we could just do something else, whatever. All right, 85% in 1990, right? So even going back to 1990, 85% of people were Christians, and if the further you go back, it damn near will be 100%. But the thing is, yeah, when you're going into the time of hardcore slavery, lynchings, they were all Christians. So what was the point? You see, what was the point? This is what we keep trying to. What is it that you're actually defending? Because if this Christianity is so holy and so filled with the Spirit, then when we go back to a time when everybody was a Christian, from the president down to the lowest man in the street, they were all Christians, going to church every Sunday. The place should be a utopia. It should be a place filled with equity and righteousness and justice, but it wasn't. Our people were getting mashed up on road. We're getting beat down for looking Edomites in the eyes, all kind of madness and terrors that ain't even all been written. As the Rasta man then would say, the half has never been told. The amount of madness that our people have been through in this man's country while they were 100% Christian. And these same people, the same doctrine is what these Jake calling themselves apologetics wanna hold up. It's crazy. The United States has the largest Christian population in the world, with nearly 205 million Christians, although other countries have higher percentages of Christians among their population. All right, and it's mainly Protestant, and about 22% are Catholic. And then when you really break it down, all these denominations, they only differ slightly on Catholicism. Catholicism being the mother of all these different churches. Okay. So I want to get some scriptures, but give me a second. I just want to make sure that I got this bookmark. Just go in a little bit more. I just can't believe I didn't bring up these bookmarks, man. How do you where the hell is the what's going on? What the hell is it? Oh, okay, that's why I couldn't see it. All right, bookmarks. Give me a second. Let me pull this up and get this ready because I wanted to. It's another example. All right, let's get these precepts here. Right, so this is and see, this whole Christianity, what they're defending. In fact, you know what? I do need to read this article because you're gonna kind of understand where these guys are coming from, what they believe. They actually believe that what they teach is what the apostle. And it sounds crazy to you brothers that's in the know. It sounds crazy, but you gotta bear with me. These people actually believe that the form of Christianity that they're following today is the same, is the continuation of what YAHAWASHI himself was teaching and laid down to the apostles and elders recorded in the scriptures. Kind of the same way you got what's known as the apostolic succession with the Catholicism. So if you're a Catholic, you believe that this thing is a continuation in the spirit of what the Lord built with the apostles and the elders in the church that's written of in the scriptures. So when they're reading about the church in the Bible, they're thinking of themselves as they are today. That's what these apologetics are defending, and that's their own insanity. So let's get this real quick. So this is from Free Thinking Ministries, which this Adam Coleman, that Jake, he's affiliated with these guys. And it says Christians have been called by God to change the world. Well, no, they haven't. We haven't been. If you're the true Christians, which are the disciples that were first called Christians in Antioch, they weren't called to change the world. They were called to serve Yahweh BaHaSHam YAHAWASHI and firstly change themselves. Right? First and foremost, when you're called into this ministry, the first thing you change, forget changing the world, change yourself. All right, the world is going to be destroyed. Okay, you brought into this truth to change yourself. Yeah. In fact, Romans the 12th chapter. Let's get that real quick. So these dudes have got it all wrong. And then what changes have they done in the world? If that was the case, what changes Catholicism do in the world? Look at the poverty that our people over there in the Americas live under today, because on the back of the Christianity and the Catholicism and the Edomites' reign of terror. Come on, man. This is Romans 12:2. It says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed. All right, so these dudes talking about changing the world. It says, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. So that's what you're called to do, man, to transform yourself through these scriptures. And then you go out there and preach. All right, you go out there and preach. And when you preach the word, Lord willing, you draw more Israelites out of the world. All right, that's what it's all about. So I don't know what they're talking about. Indeed, Christianity has radically transformed this world for the better. I'll let you brothers decide whether you think that's true, whether Christianity has radically transformed this world for the better. And you see, that shows you when they're talking about Christianity, at the same time they're talking about the system of so-called white supremacy. And that's one of the arguments that these so-called white supremacists will make, that regardless of all the wickedness that has been done to the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American Indians in the world, you're better off for it. And this is what these guys are defending. It's Volcan Malone and all these guys, they're defending Edomite supremacy. They're defending all the wickedness that's been done to our people, and saying that at the end of the day, with all the lynching, the murdering, the stealing, the robbery, the mistreatment, the scientific experiments, which still continue to this very day, when all is said and done, if you got a mobile phone in your hand or you got a laptop, well, you're better off than you was. So you have to just name that in it, just hold that. So that shows you that the spirit of Christianity is no different than the spirit of so-called white supremacy, because like I said, it's all part of the house of Esau. It's just Christianity is just it's a part of his mechanism. It's a part of his house. It's a part of his modus operandi. It's a part that's dwindling, and he's bringing in other aspects, but it's still a part of it. All right. Indeed, Christianity has radically transformed this world for the better. If anyone doubts this to be the case, I highly recommend the book How Christianity Changed the World by Alvin J. Schmidt. Yeah, you know who that sounds like. It's also significant how many atheists are beginning to realize the importance of biblical worldview for the sake of civilized Christianity. All right. For example, atheist Phil Zuckerman says that when he thinks about Christianity, three things come to mind as its core elements: love, peace or non-violence, and forgiveness. Now I'm gonna ask you, brothers, has Esau Edom exhibited these three core elements to our people? No. So why? So it's all hypocrisy. All right. Now there was a bit down here. See if I can find it. They're talking about how violence is justified, but whenever Esau was doing all this wickedness, none of these Christians ever rose up to stop it. So it's these people are just jokers, man. See if I can find a bit. I should have highlighted it, man. Human rights. Oh god, this article will really just get you pissed off. Was it in this one? I will get that in a bit. So going back to 2 Timothy 4:3 says, "For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears." So what we got to understand here is, let's break it down. You have John the Baptist, all right? John the Baptist on the scene, Elijah in the reincarnation, paving the way for the Messiah to come, okay? And he had followers. YAHAWASHI comes through, teaches, does his ministry, raises up the 12 apostles, the 70 disciples, and many followers that will follow him at the time. YAHAWASHI is crucified, and of course, we must mention without delay that he was resurrected on the third day, made himself known to many witnesses, right? And the apostles, there was 11, so they got in the 12th apostle, and then you see the book of Acts, they started teaching, and many people came in amongst the church believers. Then you had Apostle Paul, and he went out after Peter. You had Peter with Cornelius, and they started teaching the word, and that's when you started having Gentiles, which are Israelites, scattered among the Gentiles, coming in, and churches forming all over Asia Minor, and these churches were Israelites that were now coming into the doctrine. And then so you have the epistles, which is the different, like Paul and Peter, and so writing out letters dealing with certain things that were happening. So what you're going to find out is that as the church was blossoming and blooming, and there was a particular doctrine, which is a pure doctrine that was given to them by YAHAWASHI, which they were endeavoring to be taught, you had forces that were coming in, grievous wolves that were coming in and trying to co-opt the gospel and start perverting the gospel and teaching their own way. Now, this is hard to do when you got hardcore men like Paul around. You got Paul and the original apostles, they're around, so they were stopping all these things from happening. You know, when they would hear about certain things, they'll address it to keep the church going the right way. So when we hear here in 2 Timothy 4:3, it says, "For the time will come, the time would come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lusts shall heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables. But watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, and make full proof of thy ministry." So we got to understand what would happen. There would be a time when basically you were going to get people coming in to the church and they start changing up the doctrine, and then they start persecuting the ones who are teaching it the right way. Right? And that actually happened. And this is where I'm going to show you, this is where you get Catholicism from. Catholicism became the dominant form of Christianity because they basically persecuted and killed off anyone else that was teaching anything different to them, which is the real teachings. And that's why all you got now is what? Catholicism, which was wickedness, perversion, and it was warned about. It was warned. All right. This is Galatians 1:6. It says, "I marvel that ye are so soon removed from him that called you into the grace of Yahawashi unto another gospel, which is not another, but there be some that trouble you and would pervert the gospel of Yahawashi. But though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed." Okay, so like I said, even back then, when the apostles and the elders were alive, they had to contend with charlatans and people coming in and trying to change up the doctrine for their own lust, for their own benefit. Okay. 2 Thessalonians 2:3. "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first." Now, the word falling away here is apostasy, an apostasy, and that's a falling away from the truth. Let's get that. And that's what Christianity represents. Christianity represents apostasy. It's a falling away from the truth. And that's what these dudes are trying to uphold under the guise of upholding the true gospel, because they don't know the difference. We're trying to show them the difference, but they don't want to see it. They can't see it. The Lord has blinded them.
Strong's G 646. Apostasia. Apostasia.
That's right. A falling away, a defection, apostasy. And what is a defect? Oh, it says defection from the truth. Yeah, and what something wrong, and you could blatantly see that their form of doctrine is defective, man. Okay, there shall be a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, which we're in the time of that man of sin being revealed, and that's Esau, Edom. All right, but the point is that there would be a falling away first, a falling away from what? The truth, a defection. All right. 2 Peter 1:16 says, "For we have not followed cunningly devised fables when we made known unto you the power and the coming of our Lord Yahawashi Mashiach, but were eyewitnesses of his ministry." And that's basically the scripture trying to say, look, when we speak about the life and the resurrection of Yahawashi, it's not made up, it's the truth. It's a cunningly devised, it's not a cunningly devised fable as is with a lot of these other philosophies. But guess what? These Christians that came about after the fact, like Constantine, they started bringing in what cunningly devised fables like Easter and all this different madness that the Catholicism is dealing with, Trinity and all that craziness. All right, and these guys are following that, and that's because they're lost. 2 Corinthians 4:3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of YAHAWASHI, who is the image of God, should shine onto them. These guys don't have the light, man. They're in deep darkness and they don't even know it. All that research that they're doing, trying to prop up Christianity, and they still ain't even come to the conclusion, the simple conclusions in the scriptures. They still can't even understand that your lineage is based upon your father, something which is pure and simple and clear and completely common sense in the scriptures. If your lineage wasn't based upon your father's lineage, then there really would be no nations. You understand this? Like, it's just like if it to be of a nation has to be clearly defined. The minute you don't make it clearly defined and you make it half this and half that and it's from your mother, then there are no nations, because everyone can then go, yeah, but my mother this, or I'm adopted that, or this, that, and then there is no nation. How the hell can you have a nation? If Esau, like, let's give you an example. The first Edomite is who? Esau. So Esau wasn't laying down with other Edomites to make the rest of the nation of Edom. So how can the nation of Edom exist? Just think about it logically. The first Israelite is Jacob. Now, Jacob's wives could not have been Israelites. Now, they may have been of the same Hebrew family, of the stock. And I'm not saying that in the spirit they weren't of the family in the eternal. But what I'm saying is, strictly speaking, in terms of what an Israelite is, according to the scriptures, an Israelite is a descendant of Jacob. So who was Jacob's wife? Jacob's wives weren't Israelites then, because Jacob was the first Israelite. His name was Israel. So how do you then get a nation of Israelites? Because it goes by the father. It's the only conclusion. You go back into Noah and his 3 sons. How can you have the nation of Mizraim? Mizraim would have been the first Mizraimite. So that means his wives, where did they come from? They weren't Mizraim, because he's the first Mizraim. So by just pure common sense, it would have to show you that in order for you to even have nations in the first place, it has to be clearly defined. There has to be a root of it, man. Otherwise, it's confusion. Otherwise, there are no nations. And that's the confusion that these guys want to push on the people. Because Esau, Edom don't want the people to start dealing with the scriptures in the way they are. Because then you're going to have to deal with what the prophecies say towards particular nations. And they don't want that. So they want to spread this confusion. That's all it is. Just think about it in your head. How can there be why is there not a tribe of Dinah? If your lineage can go by your mother, then why is there not a tribe of Dinah? In fact, furthermore to the fact, name one nation in the Bible that was started by a woman. Just do it. Like, go into the scriptures. There must be like a tribe of Tatiana, man. Maybe there's a tribe of Tatiana out there somewhere in the scriptures. Maybe I need to read the Bible again. No, all the tribes have a progenitor, which is by a father, by a man. And it's that simple. Goodness gracious, man. But you see, all of this confusion, this is why you got this whole thing about, you're born a man, but you could be a woman. You know, I was born a man, but I feel like a woman, so I'm a woman and you have to accept me as a woman. Don't you understand that? All that confusion it's all connected. Listen, an Edomite is an Edomite and an Israelite is an Israelite. A man is a man and a woman is a woman. There ain't no in-betweens. There ain't no halves. There ain't no quarters. No, you are what you are. Whether you want to believe it or not. Yeah, the seed of Abraham, the seed of Isaac, seed of Jacob, like the brother says, it's very well defined in the scriptures. It's very well defined in the scriptures, man. Simple as that. Goodness gracious, man. But this is what we got to deal with. These dudes are in deep darkness. Right, so this is Second Corinthians 11 and 13. It says, for such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. So this is what started happening. And a lot of these guys they call early church fathers weren't church fathers at all, man. They were false apostles and deceitful workers. These are the same people that Paul was warning about. Okay, because they started changing up the doctrine. Yeah, for political reasons, for money, for filthy lucre. In fact, we're gonna get that. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Okay, there is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their own works. And that's why you can go into Catholicism and see that Catholicism ultimately is a front for Babylonian worship. Shalom, RACHAA. You can see that quite clearly. And one of the proofs of that is Christmas and Easter. Now, what do these guys have to say about Christmas and Easter? Let's get that up. Where did I have that? It says the most important Christian holidays are Christmas, which celebrates the birth of Jesus, and Easter, which commemorates the resurrection of Jesus. Well, my question is, where is Christmas in the scriptures, and where is Easter in the scriptures? Now, they might turn around and say, "Well, the word Easter is in the scriptures." Okay, let's have a look. Is it in the scriptures? Oh, wow. I guess you proved the Hebrew Israelites wrong. Easter is in the scriptures. Oh, okay. Wow. I better pack up and go to a Bible seminar by some Edomite and learn the plantation Christianity, man, so I can know my place. Oh wait, well hold on, what's this? Oh, okay. Well, in the Greek is what?
Strong's G 3957. Pascha. Pascha.
Oh, what's this? The Paschal sacrifice, which was accustomed to be offered for the people's deliverance of old from Egypt. Translated 28 times in the Bible as Passover and 1 time as Easter. Oh, I see what's happened here. So actually, Easter's not in the Bible, it's the Passover. Right? That's what's in the scriptures. And the Passover is in Leviticus, is it the 13th chapter? Is Leviticus? Let's double check. Oh, not Lav. It's Liv. What's wrong with it? Leviticus 13. Nah, it's not, is it? Where's your chapter is it, man? Oh, why am I even thinking Leviticus? It's 20, 23 or 22. 22, 23, around there. Well, I'm having a brain freeze, man. I'm having a serious brain freeze right now. What's going on? Come on. I'm gonna kick myself in. There you go. Right, Exodus the 12th chapter. What was I thinking? It's 23. That's it. Like, so you got Leviticus 23. That goes into all of the feast days. In fact, let's go there. We just had the Day of Atonement the other day. Right, so all of, pretty much, not all, but most of the feast days that we have is in Leviticus 23, which none of the Christians keep, by the way. Then you also got what, Purim, you got the Feast of Dedication, yeah, Purim, Feast of Dedication, a couple others. They're all what's in the scriptures, but these Christians don't keep any of them. But their most highly exalted ones is Christmas, which is not in the scriptures, and Easter, which is not in the scriptures. Yeah, Numbers 28 and 16 as well. So these guys, they're not real, and all of that stuff coming from Catholicism, right? When they had these different councils, Nicene Council, the first Council of Nicaea was a council of Christian bishops convened in Bithynian city of Nicaea by the Roman Emperor Constantine I. Now, straight away, that's a red flag, because when are you going to be a Roman emperor and you're calling yourself a follower of YAHAWASHI at the same time? If you were Roman emperor and you call yourself being a follower of YAHAWASHI, the best thing for you to do is to leave that office, man, and go serve the Lord and preach the word, because the Lord is going to destroy Rome, man. But you see, that's that fallacy that you can incorporate YAHAWASHI into this world. Now, you're not incorporating YAHAWASHI into this world. What you're doing is trying to mix two things that don't go together, and this is what you're going to get out of it: Christianity. Okay, so they basically started incorporating all these pagan philosophies to appeal to the people, because it became all about money and power. That's why you got the whole hell doctrine, where they took Dante's Inferno and turned it into a Christian doctrine to scare people into giving up their money so they didn't go burn in hell. And they painted them images all over all the different churches to scare the people into giving up their money, man. This ecumenical council was the first effort to attain consensus in the church through an assembly representing all Christendom. Then you got Josias of Cordoba may have presided over its deliberations. Its main accomplishments were the settlement of Christological issue of the divine nature of God the Son and his relationship to God the Father, the construction of the first part of the Nicene Creed, establishing uniform observance of the date of Easter, and the promulgation of early canon law. So this is when it went all downhill. And this is what these guys are defending to this very day. Right, all the different subsequent councils and that they had, and every time they had a council, just more perverted and more perverted the true doctrine that the Lord handed down. So the Lord had to bring that true doctrine back again through the men of the Lord, and that's what you see happening. The true doctrine is being brought back in the earth through the Lord inspiring the men of the Lord to understand these scriptures again the right way. And these guys don't like it, man. And they're going to try and defend it, but they're going to lose. All right, let me see if I can find. Sure, it was in this article. Yeah, 'cause these dudes got an article here talking about violence and all this stuff. But it was a point that these dudes were making. GMS Hawaii bar said, Constantine, it appeared an unworthy thing that in the celebration of this most holy feast we should follow the practice of the Israelites who have impiously defiled their hands with enormous sin. Therefore, deservedly afflicted with blindness of soul, let us have nothing in common with the detestable crowd, for we have received from our Savior a different rate. That's blasphemy, because the Lord himself was an Israelite and he followed the way of the Israelites in perfection. That's why he was found blameless. You see, that's a beautiful quote. So that showed Constantine was going off, man. And that's what these dudes are defending, man. So when they're defending the way of Constantine, which is the way of error, all right. Anyway, I can't find this thing I went from before, but yeah, that's a beautiful point there, and that's pretty much the point I wanted to make anyway. With when it comes to these Christian apologists, they're just demons, man. They're just defending a perversion, and they don't even understand it, because in their warped mind, their warped mentality, what Constantine was teaching here is the same as what Paul and all, but Paul never said that. Paul still kept the Passover. So what? So here it is. Paul kept the Passover, but Constantine is making a decree that they're not going to keep the Passover, and this is now Christian doctrine, and these dudes are going to defend that. It's a disconnect right here. It said Constantine, however, supported the separation of the day of Easter from the Jewish Passover, stating in his letter after the say brothers gonna come with some hard information here. Let's get that. We'll get that and then we'll close up. That's pretty much. Oh, that's actually one more scripture, man. That's why you got to go into the history of this Christianity thing, and what you'll find is it's really all been about power and money, man. Right? That's what it was, man. Power and money, and that's why when you watch all the medieval, period pieces and the way the Catholic Church was operating, it was all about power and money, man. It was never about the Lord, man. Them crusades, why were they going on cruise? Did the Lord give a commandment to go on a crusade to recapture Jerusalem? Why were they doing that? They were doing that for money and power. It weren't nothing to do with the Lord. Never commanded them to do that. All right, and that is the spirit of Esau. Do whatever you got to do for money and power. And our people were doing that, and then Esau took it and he ran with it. It's all about money and power. Right? Get as many followers as you can. So you're going to water down the doctrine, because this doctrine was never meant to be for the masses. It was only meant to be for an elect. Second Peter's 2:1. She says, but there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. Yeah, and that swift destruction is coming, man. All right, because when the time of Jacob's trouble gets into full gear, and Daniel's the 12th chapter comes into full gear, all this apologetic stuff is it's not gonna be worth anything, man. All that me and my squad business, it ain't gonna be worth nothing, man. These dudes are gonna be left out to dry, man. All right, because all what they're doing ain't gonna defend them. Even though they think they're doing something that's gonna receive a reward, but it ain't the reward they think. They're not gonna be defended. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And that's why a lot of people don't like Christianity. They don't like the idea of Christians, man. Because let's just be honest, man. Let's just be honest. Christianity, man, has done a lot of foul. Christianity and Christians, as what they call themselves, have done a lot of foul acts throughout these hundreds and hundreds of years, man. And that's because they're not following the right way. the spirit of error is within them, right? It says, and through covetousness, right? And that's what the church is all about, money. It's all about covetousness, man. Through covetousness shall they with feigned words. The word feigned means molded. So they mold everything they teach. And that's why they don't want to teach that salvation is only for the Israelites, because you're reducing your market. When you teach that, you're reducing your market. They have to be inclusive, because being inclusive means more people. The more people you have power over, the more people giving you tithes and money. All right. That's how the Catholic Church became the richest organization on the face of the planet Earth. And by the way, the Catholic Church got so much money that they could afford to invest money in Elton John's. Oh man, let me just put that. I don't know if you brothers heard about this. Now, Elton John is probably the most famous flamer in all history. Dude's flaming. The dude is on fire. Yeah. And the Vatican, it says here, the Vatican invested 4.5 million in Elton John biopic Rocket Man, featuring gay sex and drug abuse. You need to know, man. The Rocket Man, right? The Rocket Man, the Vatican Church invested money in that film. Now, what business do they have doing that? That shows you what they're all about, man. Okay. So let's finish this bit. So let's read GMSY bar. I want to get this information out. Constantine, however, supported the separation of the date of Easter from the Jewish Passover, stating in his letter after the First Council of Nicaea, it was in the first place declared improper to follow the custom of the Jews in the celebration of this holy festival, because their hands have been stained with crime. Now, what the hell? It weren't the Jews that declared to follow the Passover. It was the Most High. So it shows you these dudes ain't even thinking straight. And then so you wonder why you run into these guys today and they still ain't thinking straight. The minds of these wretched men are necessarily blinded. Let us then have nothing in common with the Israelites, who are our adversaries. Well, how could the Israelites be adversaries when Peter and Paul and all them were Israelites? It don't make no sense. Now, are there Israelites that are adversaries of the church? Yes. But the church was made up of Israelites. So how I'm getting a headache, man. This is the madness that we're dealing with. So then you can see where these guys today, where these guys are coming from. They're infected with the same madness, man. Let's finish the scripture, man. Where was it? He says, and through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you. All right, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. All right, and that's what it's all about, man. Confusing the people to make money and control the people. And now Esau's kind of got different ways. He wants to chip everyone, so he's like, to hell with Christianity, man. We don't really need it no more. Okay, yeah, you couldn't type the J-double-O, the J-double-O's. Okay, I see that, brother. Okay, but yeah, pretty much that's all I wanted to really talk about through the spirit, man. This Christianity, at the end of the day, it's a perversion of the original gospel, and we're coming with the original gospel and destroying them, and that's why they you know, it's all hands on deck, and we got to get rid of these dudes. But we're going to keep moving forward, because it's a time for the truth to be proliferated in the earth, and they're going to keep going backward. And like I said, they ain't got nobody the youths, them ain't trying to hear them. All right, the youth, them ain't trying to hear all that, what Vocab's talking about. Vocab's trying to get some of us to join the church, because they can't get no more followers, man, because nobody wants to hear that. The niggas in the prison don't want to hear that. Like these youths coming up now, they're listening to Drake. They don't want to hear that. They don't want. They, the only ones that's really drawing people in like that are the Israelites, and we're not concerned with drawing everybody in. But even we're getting it done because it's the truth. But these guys are losing, and that's why they want to debate us, because they really don't have nobody else to debate. Like, you know, nobody ain't listening. Let's go to vocabs. It's a damn shame. Let's go to vocab, man, the superstar of apologetics. Ain't nobody listening. Look, 24,000 subscribers. Now, you might say, I don't have that much. But, bro, Christianity is the biggest religion on the planet Earth, and you only got 24,000 subscribers, bro? Like, people is listening to Nicki Minaj more than you. That's why you're hurt. Like, no one ain't trying to hear this. Like, even your own people, even these Edomites that claim to be Christians, don't really pay you no attention, man. Here it is, you're trying to save Christianity, and the Christians don't want to save Christianity, man. They're just like, nah. Like, who are you going to debate? Like, this is crazy, man. So I hope none, you know, through the spirit, none of you brothers even dare go join these. These people are obviously on a sinking ship. Okay, this is made in China building work. Just let these people fall. We continue to bring out the scriptures and teach our truth, and these dudes are gonna fall by default because they're already sliding. You've seen the numbers, and they're hurt by that because they're all about numbers, man. They don't have no concept of the elect. Yeah, they're sinking ship. And hey, when the Titanic was sinking, they were still the band was still playing the violin all the way down to the bottom. And that's these dudes. These dudes just jump ship, man. Listen, the Hebrew Israelites is where it at, man. That's the truth, man. Just forget about this. Forget about Christianity, man. It's through. It's over with, man. Like, it's done. All right. You trying to make it cool, trying to make it hip. Oh, we rolled up on them, but the youth them don't want to hear that, man. They don't want to hear that, man. We rolled, me and my squad. What, you think that makes you cool? You think that means that a bunch of these youths are gonna listen to you? You're done, man. Okay, it had its time and now it's over. It's madness. So with that, I would say, hey, shalom. Shalom, Akim, shalom.